Not about stories. Hey everyone. Sorry, messing around with Instagram again. Okay, I have no idea what I'm doing wrong here. Okay, well, let's see. I did it last week, didn't I? Yeah. All right. If anybody's out there who knows how to get me onto Instagram, I am not wanting to be in stories. So I thought I had this down. Okay, never mind. We're just going on Facebook today. Hey everyone. So I am still talking this week about body image because it is not a topic that we want to take lightly. And also, I kind of screwed up my blogs. I was supposed to do the coming out of the body image closet last week. And so that's what I'm doing this week on Facebook Live. That blog actually is already up. So you can read the whole thing on peacefullivingwellness.com/blog. And this week on Friday, I'm going to post the blog that goes with last week's video. And that's the one about being bold about body image with all of the history of body image. I mean, I'm not writing a book, right? But I give a nice overview of the history of body image and when it turned into a thing in our country that is something that is monetized. So that's really the story that I was telling in last week's video, and it's the story that I tell in the blog. And I'm using that to explain to people how we came to a place in our society that what your body looks like is something that we need to criticize. That is my main point. I want everybody to stop criticizing themselves. And quite frankly, I want the diet industrial complex to stop criticizing us in order to get us to pay them $60 billion a year. So that was last week's Facebook Live, just explaining how I mess things up, as I do sometimes, and I hope you all will forgive me for that. And this week it is about my own story. And I talk about this pretty freely. In my coaching, I think it is really important to be vulnerable, to show that I too struggle with many of the same things that my clients struggle with. Now, the reason I can coach about these things is that I have put so much time and effort and energy into healing myself in particular, and now into doing the work it takes to learn even more healing, not just for myself, which is sort of icing on the cake, but also to give even more tools to have even deeper, an even deeper ability to help for my clients. So that's where I'm coming from on this, and that I am willing to be vulnerable for you so that you can learn and grow and heal. Hey, Sean, nice to see you. So that's where I am today. I'm telling my own story about how growing up in our society was very difficult for me, and how I have come to learn to be in a place of acceptance and love, but that it's not constant. There is still a struggle. So here's how the story kind of goes. Back in the good old 1980s, the time of big hair and skinny hips, it was not easy being a teenager. You know, Madonna, the Material Girl, there was all of that stuff going on. Hey, Vicki, so good to see you. Vicki, I know you relate to this. 1980s, what it's like to not have the boyish hips in the 1980s, and to really feel the stigma of not fitting into the material girl world. Add on top of that you're 15, 16 years old, and that makes it even harder. So I know you guys are probably saying, okay, well, that's teenagerdom. But that foundation is what allows us to grow in, unfortunately, maybe a negative way. So you go into the 90s, and that's when we start seeing a lot of plastic surgery. Breast augmentation in particular is what I'm thinking of. But also my friends having liposuction and doing all sorts of wraps and stuff to change their bodies. For me, it was all about the gym. I was in the gym nonstop. Tana Lee Webb, buns of steel, abs of steel. So really, it was not a time of yoga for me. It was a time of working out. And yeah, I totally had a hard body. However, I still didn't accept myself. I still, if I was wearing something tight, would wear a long shirt to cover my booty, because that was in the pre-Kim Kardashian, the pre-Jennifer Lopez days of booty's okay. So in my blog, I talk about a time that I was walking down on the beach just for exercise. I didn't have a bathing suit on. But I had on, like, what do we call them? Biker shorts, I guess we called them back in the day. And I had a sweatshirt on. And I had pulled that sweatshirt down to cover my booty. But it had come up. And as I was walking, these guys sitting in the parking lot at the beach, they said, "Ooh, baby got back." I was mortified. I could not believe that they were saying that I had a fat butt. I just didn't even know what to do with myself. Well, I don't know. People later on have told me, no, I think that was a compliment, Jen. But the point is that that was all about society. That was all about society telling me how to feel about my body. Then you fast forward a few decades, and ladies, I know you know what I'm talking about, because if you have a couple of babies, or even one, or three, or Krista Donahue, 5, and yet Krista has the perfect body, it changes your body. And you're sitting there going, oh, Lord, things are not in the same place. Hey, Bree, one of my favorite people. Hi, Bree. So that is not easy either, as your body changes as you've had children. Now, here's the thing. This is not just about women. I talked a little bit last week about when I was teaching at the university, and every year our student health services in the University of California system, the whole system, would come out with some new statistics. And it was just consistent across the board that not only did our female population have eating disorders, exercise disorders, but so did our male population. And so this societal pressure to make me think, oh my God, baby got back, that's terrible, to have these young women think that they need to starve themselves so that they can be rail thin. We know anorexia and bulimia are real. The societal expectations that now we see coming out towards males, young males, to be very cut, that they will spend more time in the gym than they will in their studies. They will go down the road of doing steroids. I know many, many young males, younger than myself, who have done steroids, and not the natural kind. So again, this is about societal pressure, about how to look. And what I want to give to everybody through my own story about my own struggles is that I have come to a place where I am more impressed. That's the wrong word. I feel better about myself. Hey, Val. Yeah, maybe I am more impressed by myself. Maybe that was a Freudian slip. I feel better about myself depending not on how I look, but how I feel. So now it's all about, how are my energy levels? How is my sense of relaxation? How is my sense of balance? That is what has become more important. And so that is what I want to give as a gift through my own story to everybody else. So think about it like this. Do you want to just not go to the gym anymore? Of course not, because what does exercise do for us? It helps us to feel good, right, Sean? You're a coach. You know this. Exercise helps us to feel so good. It floods our brains with endorphins. And endorphins, just that, they're a happy hormone. But that's also the reason that we want to bring in yoga and meditation and relaxation techniques, because to keep things in balance, we want to have our brains be flooded with cortisol. That's sorry, I just got the word wrong. Oxytocin. I think I should have had notes for today's video. I don't normally mess up my words. Oxytocin. That is the relaxation hormone. And I want you to feel those hormones. I want you to feel good and not worry so much about how you look. So that is what we're getting at here. Remember, we did not, in our society, start really caring about how people looked until the 1800s. And when we have had these expectations, and I know even before that for women, with the corsets, right? And the body morphine and damage that came from that. We didn't monetize it until the late 1800s. What came from that was damage. What can come from that now is damage. Whether it's anorexia, bulimia, steroids, or bariatric surgeries that go wrong, which many of them do with their side effects. Or it's all of the money we spend on all of these different diets. My favorite right now is the ketone diet, which is just a newer, more strict version of Atkins or Zone. And actually we see those diets all the way back into the early 1900s with the milk diet. Same thing, taking carbohydrates out of your diet. Well, that's all fine and good, but if you're taking carbohydrates out of your diet to such an extent that you don't have even the minimal amount, you can shut your kidneys down and put your kidneys into ketosis. So again, I don't want to go down that road of all doom and gloom. I want to be uplifting and say, if you love your body, if you accept yourself, if you can look in the mirror and say, you know what, you are beautiful just the way you are. That's the goal. If you can sit down and feel your body and say, my body feels good, that's the goal. So that's where I want to go with these blogs in these 2 weeks. And again, the Coming Out of the Body Image Closet blog is already there. It's already up on the website. And the Being Bold About Body Image, the one that has all the research in it, which took me forever to write, that will go up on Friday. And if you are interested in having those come to your inbox on a regular basis, just subscribe to my blog at peacefullivingwellness.com. Anywhere you see a pop-up that says your 5 free tips for peaceful living. I don't spam you. I don't share your information. I am in the process of figuring all this GDPR stuff out, but I don't think any of you are in the EU, so I think that's okay. And you can just subscribe and you get this once a week in your inbox. All right, y'all. Give me some posts. Let me know what you think. Put out your own Coming Out of the Body Image Closet stories. If we share in community, that is just even more empowering for the rest of us. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you next week. Next week, I'm going to actually be talking about fear, and it's something that is really giving me a hard time in my life right now. I guess it's Vulnerability Month. Okay, bye, guys.